Hi there, it's Noor Satya again with another activity. This time the activity is 2.5 and this activity is to install Windows Server 2016 using the server core installation option. So we will install server core. VirtualBox is our virtualization software. Right now in front of you it's open. And I have ISO already on desktop. So I'll create new virtual machine and then I'll say the name is server DM2. So this is what the way I'm naming it. And if you go into the topology, which is right in front of you, so we already have installed a DC1, which is GUI interface. And now I'm installing DM2. Now DM2 also connected to internal virtual switch, and it will have a IP address of 192.168.0.3 here. Okay. Choose 2016 64-bit. Next. Again, I have good amount of RAM available, memory available, so I will choose 4 gig and then create. So it creates a hard disk NVDI VirtualBox disk image. Next, I will use dynamically allocated hard disk. Next, 50 gig is okay for that, and then create. So this is my DM2, so I'll start it. So now it requires me to give ISO image path. So that's my desktop. Start. Say next. Install now. If you have a product key, that's okay, you can put that in. So I'll choose this option. Now over here, four options are available. So this is your 2016 standard version with CLI, with the server core of standard. So what I'll do, I'll install server core of data center edition. Next. Accept the license terms. Next. Install Windows only there, 50 gig of the hard disk. Next. Now it has started getting files for the installation. It will download files. So I will pause video until it actually ready files for the installation. So after copying every file, it has restarted. So while restarted, I will remove disk from virtual drive. I will restart from the hard disk. Still it is getting ready. Okay, so that's what the server core installed. Now in the server core you will get only CLI, so you can see the user's password must be changed before signing in. So I will say okay here, and then I will put a password which is password 01, and then I'll confirm it. Password 01. Enter. So now the password is changed. Say OK here. So you can see it has a, by default, only command prompt is available. So this is how we install our server code. Now in activity 2.6 we need to do some tasks which are post installation tasks on server code. We already logged in as administrator, so it asks you to type date here, and if you look at the date, the current date is 10/6, which is fine. There is no need to put new date. Okay, so date is fine, and we can also check time as well. So time, current time is, so there's a problem with a little bit of time, so we're going to put a new time here with 3:09. Enter. So that's our new time. Now in order to set the time zone, we need to use time zone utility. So on the command prompt, TZUTIL, then space /L, and press enter. So you can see that it has so many different time zones, so we need to look at which time zone we are in. So this is our Canberra Melbourne one, Australian Eastern Time Zone. So to change time zone to my Canberra Melbourne Sydney time, the command is time ZUTIL space then /S and then in colon double colon Canberra Melbourne Sydney, and then press enter. Oh, sorry guys, it will not work Canberra Melbourne Sydney. We should put Australian Eastern Standard Time and then press enter. Make sure that there is a space between S and then these columns, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So that actually configures our Australian Eastern Standard Time. And if I want to verify that what is the current time zone, so I can type time zone utility, click here, time zone utility space /G. So it gives me Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is good. So we've done up to step number 4 in activity 2.6. Now in activity in same activity, step number 5 asks us to look at the IP address in the command prompt. To verify the IP address, we use ipconfig/all command. That actually gives us every information about the card which is connected. Okay, and right now you can see that it is having a 10.0.2.1.15 IP address on Ethernet. Now the reason behind it is that by default in VirtualBox, when we create a machine, it gets a IP address automatically from a DHCP server. Now each machine, when it is created in VirtualBox, by default it is on netting interface status. So we have a built-in DHCP server which is giving this IP address from the range of 10.0.2. something. Okay, so according to our topology, and I've explained it before as well, but just to give you another view, that this is what we are trying to implement our topology. Server DC1 and DM2 is the core server. DM1, domain number 1, is also our GUI interface, desktop experience. And .1 is a IP address on DC1, .2 on DM1, and DM2 will have .3 IP address, 192.168.0.3 IP address. So that's what I'm going to apply that now onto this Ethernet interface. We can do the same thing in PowerShell as well. In order to enter into PowerShell, type PowerShell here on command prompt. Sorry, there should be no space between power and shell, PowerShell. So now I'm in PowerShell. And you can see that if I enter command, now PowerShell commands are, the syntax of the command is that it has a verb and then some nouns. Like the first one is get. For example, I want to use get net IP interface. So that actually will show me what is the IP address on the interfaces. Okay, so the problem is here is that there is no space between get and this. Okay, so now enter it. So you see it is showing me every interface IP address. You can see Ethernet has a enabled, connected. It shows me the status, what address family it is there, and what type of IPv4 is enabled. DHCP, you see it's enabled DHCP. So I will configure IP address to this interface statically. Okay, so the command to do that is new net IP address 192.168.0.3 with prefix length of 24, which is the mask value, and then default gateway I will use IP address of my domain controller, which is 192.168.0.1, and then interface alias Ethernet. Make sure that you use the same name. You see under interface alias in get interface command we have Ethernet here, so you need to use the same name. You can also use interface index as well. It's number 2. So press enter. So you can see it has allocated that IP address 192.168.0.3. All right, IPv4. Now in step number 10, what I need to do is I need to put a new firewall rule in which I will allow my ICMP traffic, the ping traffic, because by default on Windows Firewall this traffic is blocked. So in order to do that, the command is set net firewall rule FPS hyphen ICMP4 hyphen ERQ hyphen in, then space hyphen enabled, and then say true and press enter. So this is how it actually change the firewall rule, and it allows the ICMP version for traffic. Now the next step is I want to change the name of this server, and if you want to see that what name is currently there, so you can give this command $environment : computer name, and you can see that it's very complex name of this computer. So what I want to do is I want to rename it to a server core. Okay, so I'll use a command rename -computer, and then server core without any space and quotes, and press enter. So for that to work, as you can see, warning is here, the changes will take effect after you restart the computer. So what we're going to do, we're going to restart the computer, restart, and you can see that what I have done, there is no need to type the whole command. You just type the first wording, and then if you press tab, it actually, the command line will complete that command for you. And press enter, so now it will restart this server core. Okay, so now it says press Control Alt Del, go to the keyboard, press Control Alt Del. You need to put password, and then here we come back. Just to confirm it that everything, whatever I've done, the same IP address is configured. So I will verify with the IP config command, and then you can see it has a 192.168.0.3 IP address, and it has a default gateway of this. Now what I'll do, I will shut down immediately without any time, wait, and that actually shuts down my server core. Now the reason behind that I've shut down it, because I want to show you that after giving that IP address to that interface, I need to turn off the machine and change the settings, the network settings. So we cannot change these network settings unless we have that machine shut down. So go to the network, and then you see this is your Ethernet card with the adapter 1 in virtual box, and by default it is on net, so we need to bring it to internal network, and this internal virtual switch which I created first while installing the domain controller, so it is shown here. So that's just the name of our internal network virtual switch. Say OK here. So now you can see that our server core is installed, and that finishes our activity number 2.5 and 2.6.